Just a quick response to conference report talking about whether, I guess, the philosophical question of whether nature is broken. And I responded that nature is broken, what a concept. Mankind is currently raping the earth, and that creates this sense of dread that there's something that is not quite right. I don't believe that any kind of grand designer would build this. I believe it's up to us. Right now we're not doing so well. But you know, this whole concept of nature being something that man can perfectly integrate into, I don't think there's such thing as a graceful integration into nature. We have we have disturbed it by our technology, by our our way of being, um, naturally intervening into the course of nature. Human beings, we're just naturally intervening into it, and that's going to cause an imbalance of sorts to a certain degree. Make it an artificial relationship rather than natural. So I like to think of it in terms of artificial versus natural. So there's cars, and there's factories, and there's pollution, and there are species being taken out of existence because of man's being here. So so whether there's no perfect relationship with nature, and um, Fred, who does the conference report, says maybe perfect isn't quite the right word, but I do think a lot of us look to nature as a kind of role model for how best to live our lives. We assume that natural is best, or that any product on the supermarket shelf that contains natural ingredients is inherently more worthy. I've lost count of the time I've read comments from both vegetarians and meat eaters holding up nature as the ultimate arbiter in the argument. So what Fred is saying here is that that nature is being held to this high standard, um, and you know, we owe our existence to nature, so we do owe it some reverence, I think. But you know, the fact that um, nature is here doesn't mean it can't be manipulated for optimum usage by human beings. And what we're really trying to do is to create our own heaven on earth, is what we're really trying to do. Um, and being an agnostic atheist, I don't believe that there's anything more, really. There's no evidence that there is any more. How can there be a mind after the brain is dead? I'm not sure. So my opinion is, we need to be as friendly as possible to nature, to live with her in a, you know, think of it as a husband-wife type thing. You know, live with her in the most harmonious and gentle nature possible. Live with her, exist with her. However, um, you know, we must make it as um, a humanly friendly environment as we can for human beings. And you know, if we as human beings would say, okay, we're going to do this ideal world, and it's going to be as kind to dogs and cats as possible, without thinking of humans. Of course, we're naturally human-centric. That's probably not a word, but so I guess I'm like rambling here. But I think that Fred's sort of his sort of point is that nature is this arbiter, nature is this standard. And in one of the other videos, he talks about this slippery slope argument with vegetarianism versus meat eaters, and that to a certain extent we're all vegetarians to something. We're vegetarians to eating humans, of course. That would not be civil. It would not be in the interest of altruism. Um, so that you know, you can talk about being an atheist to certain religions, like you could be an atheist to Jainism, or an atheist to Hindu, but believe in Christianity. So really, you're kind of an atheist to the other ones too. So does that make sense? So what I thought was brilliant with Fred is that he thought of this analogy with vegetarianism being on this relative spectrum, rather than either you're a vegetarian or you're not. And I guess you could carry it further to say, this chain of, and I know some people might feel uncomfortable with this subject, but the chain of homosexuality versus hetero. That I don't know if there's any true sense of whether one is 100% heterosexual and 100% homosexual. That Freud would have said that we're all bisexual, but it's within that realm. So again, a very sensitive topic for some. But what I like about Fred's presentation is he's in the battle with absolutes. He's in this battle with absolutes, and absolutes don't exist. They just don't. They don't exist. So there you go. There you go, Fred. That's my response.